This is J. Krishnamurti's 14th discussion with students in Malibu, California, 1969.
What shall we talk about? What shall we discuss?
I was wondering if we could talk about planning and decision making decisions. How can one plan things and make decisions without using any assumptions, or without basing it on assumptions?
I wonder what you mean by assumption and planning. I'm not quibbling over words, but what do we mean by planning and assumption? I have to plan in order to go to San Francisco. It's obvious I have to plan. Where is the assumption there? Is there any assumption there? Assumption being a purpose, an ideology, a formula, an opinion.
Of course, you do have a purpose for going there.
Yes, I have a purpose.
Would you close the door, Chris? Somebody else.
It also seems when you're planning, you have to make choices all the time between alternatives, doing different things. I mean, you have to plan to go to San Francisco or plan to go to Denver.
What is that? What's the problem in it?
Perhaps he's confusing psychological assumptions with technological conclusions. And you've said we must, don't conclude, don't assume.
I have to decide whether I go to San Diego or San Francisco. I say, well, where is the issue in it? I would like to talk, discuss, or whatever it is. What are we all trying to do? Not only here for the moment and in the world, what are we all trying to do? What is it all about? We are caught in a society where we have to earn a livelihood, where there is competition, ambition, and so on, all that. Do we get together in order to better to compete, make a bigger success in what we're doing? Or, knowing all this, what's happening in the world, war, nationalistic and linguistic divisions, psychological divisions, which are brought about by beliefs, dogmas, intentions, purposes, ideologies, the religious divisions, and so on, so on. Knowing all that, being aware of all that, is it that we want to live differently? live with freedom, with love, with clarity, without sorrow, conflict. Is that what we want? Not want, you know what I mean, I'm using quick phrase. Is this what, after observing the outward facts of life, the society which each human being has created, and seeing where it is leading to, or where it is, and realizing that we want to change, transform ourselves radically. Is that what we are struggling to do? If I am struggling, if I personally to do that, would I go to India to find some dark-skinned or light-skinned gentleman called Guru and follow him? I certainly wouldn't. I'd turn my back on him either here or in India. I wouldn't follow any authority, because authority has led me to this mess. Priests have led me to this horror, which you call society. Education, as it is, only leads me to the office or technological advancement and so on. So what would I do? After rejecting authority outward and inward, authority of every kind, I mean reject, I really mean reject, not just play with it. To reject authority means not to depend on anybody. No, depend on my own particular experience, which I think will lead me to reality, freedom. I distrust my own experience. Because my experiences I translate according to my background, any challenge which become my experience, and my experiences more and more delude me. I mean, this is obvious. So I distrust completely my experience, distrust any leader, any authority, and I know what I am, what generally human beings are: aggressive, petty, jealous, envious, all that. And my concern would be to completely transform that. And see what happens afterwards. What happens afterwards, I'm not really interested. It may create a marvelous society if there are a lot of us to do it, or it may not. Or it may open a door from which a state of living or a different dimension from which I lacked in this world. So that, is this what we want to do? Not as a reward or as a carrot before the donkey and so on, because all that's out. and knowing one's own life is pretty shallow, rather dull and stupid, is it our problem to make it deeper, wider, more rich, and so on? Or observing all this to not to belong to any of that, the more the measurable advancement, self-improvement. So, can we discuss that? What is one to do? Seeing the map of the world and the psychological field with all its intricacies, deviations, limitations, knowing the sorrow, fear, and all that, and having no really deep love in oneself. What is one to do? Right, sir? Can we start from there?
It's very difficult, at least for me, to really be extremely earnest and serious about it, because I can see now, hearing you, what the importance of it is, but it's somehow being lazy, essentially, and it's hard to really wake myself up.
Don't wake up. Leave it alone. If you think it isn't worth it, leave it. What the heck does it matter? Don't drive yourself to be more alert, because there's another misery. After all, if I'm lazy, I'm going to be lazy. What's wrong with being lazy? And if I can't become easily alert, alive, what am I to do? Just fight for the rest of my life against being lazy? Or find out why I'm lazy? That's part of our nature to be lazy. Indolent, slack. Without inward, grit. And how am I not take time, gradually become non-lazy, but not to be lazy? I don't know.
That's more or less my question.
It may also be that one calls oneself lazy because one has some fantastic standard of achievement or performance against which one is measuring oneself.
That really brings up quite a different problem, whether the body can be intelligent on its own and not, and when it is tired, when it is quiet, let the body be intelligent. And it will decide when it's lazy. It's good to be lazy. I wonder, is that the problem, sir? Just to fight laziness, to not be lazy? That seems to be a completely, if I may say so, a secondary issue. There's a much deeper issue. I'm lazy. I'm not clever. I'm not, my life living in little Los Angeles or New York or London or anywhere else is a shoddy little life. And I'm dull and all the rest of it, and I see what the world is around me, and I want to change all this immediately. I want to be different overnight. Right? I don't want to take time, I don't want to. I'm no, you follow? My life is much too short. So I would like to wake up tomorrow morning and find myself completely different. Right? Is that possible? Or is that a wild dream which can never take place? What do you say, sirs?
Does that mean we still do essentially the same things?
Or maybe, I don't know, I don't care. Afterwards I'll see what happens. I may do the same things or I may not. I may go on digging the garden. I don't know what I will do. But I see this is I can't live that way. Go to the office, go to the, the boredom, the routine of it all. Now, so we have stated that, right? We have described the map, we have seen the map, we've seen where the roads, where the villages are, where the towns are, where the ditches are, where the bridges are and washed out, and all the rest of it. So I ask myself whether seeing all this which is in myself, which is myself, can there be a real transformation in this? Or again, I might wait for an outside agency, whether it's the environment, a new invention, or for God to come in and say, look, you do some trick on me and I'm different. If I wait on circumstances, I can wait. Or a new invention a computer which will allow me to work one day of the week and the rest I'm free, then I have a problem of leisure. What shall I do? I might become a bore to my wife living in the same house for 6 days a week. Or if I wait for some outside agency like God to come in and transform my mind, that is too long to wait. So what is one to do? Come on, sirs. If one puts this problem to oneself, this question rather, very seriously, what do we say? What is the answer? Real answer, not just kind of superficial answer. What does one say to oneself? It's impossible. Or I don't know. Or one has not the capacity, no, I won't use that word, one doesn't know how to put this question to oneself sufficiently deeply to stir our innards, you know what I mean?
Perhaps we have all put the question, sir, but perhaps we can only wake up the next morning different if we anchored in something absolutely real. If we have some new kind of perception.
Look, sir, you're putting, that is the most. If we are anchored in something real, I don't know. Then we have to have God. Then we have to have the super Atman, the perfect soul, or whatever it is. Then we look back again in a roundabout way. Here is a simple given fact. What am I to do?
It seems like if we can't do it by conscious effort or will, and it's not happening, then
No, sir. Sir, suppose tomorrow somebody says you've lost your house and you've no job, you would do something very, very drastic. You wouldn't sit back and say, well, is it action of will, is it, you follow what I mean? Or discuss, argue.
well, isn't it then that we're just not unhappy enough in what we're doing?
If you are happy, I don't know what you mean by happy in
Well,
what
we're
you are
not-
doing. Majority of people are quite happy in doing what they are doing, going to the office every day for the rest of their life, earning $100 or whatever it is a day, or 1,000 or whatever they do, and disease and gradually dying. That's we are very happy. What the devil are you bothered about?
Well, it's just not that uncomfortable to live that way.
So, can somebody put a fire under you, and will that make you change? It's really quite a serious problem, quite a thing that one must put it. Is it a matter of evolution? You know, gradually, if I die, it doesn't matter, somebody else will, some other being will live better, and there will be a better society in about 100 years' time, when everybody, gradually. Or is it not a gradual process at all? I mean, what is the difficulty, sir? I mean, when there is danger, you act. House is burning, or you lost your job, or something or other, but really, real crisis, a real challenge that demands that you do something, you do it. Is it that we don't have enough perception or observation that makes us see these things so intimately, so vitally, as a tremendous thing that says, my God, I must do something. If the perception isn't strong enough, what am I to do? Will somebody make my perception strong so that I see it so dangerous, so I see the danger of it in that I act. Who is going to make me? I'm back again in the same position. Somebody has to do it for me, and then I'm lost. So one can give up and go to a monastery, or retire into one's own shell and say, I don't care. I live as I am, I don't mind. I'm a frightened little man, a frightened human being, and there is no way out of this trap, so I live there. Also,
You're saying we have to increase our perception, but nobody can tell us how to do it. And we don't know how to do it.
and that's Why don't we know how to do it? When you see a precipice, nobody has to tell you. When you see a danger of rock falling, you move. Why don't we see the danger of this thing? The danger of this way of living, which we are doing now, which is the most dangerous way of living, because it's bringing about destruction of ourselves and everything else in the world. Why don't we see that as a tremendous danger and act?
We're running away from it.
All right, stop running. Stop, I'm not saying you personally, I mean, let's stop all escapes. Churches, every form of escape. And see what happens. Would that bring about transformation? So that tomorrow morning I wake up with a different smile on my face. Which means I have to search out all escapes and block.
It's already complicated.
Again, it won't be tomorrow, it'll be next year.
Isn't it possible to stop escaping without searching out each escape? Just stop escaping.
It's up to you.
It's not tomorrow morning. You can't wait for tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
It's not later. It's not. It has to be now. You have
So
to
how will
see
you
it
do
now.
it, sir? Right? How will this happen?
This happens when I think it happens when you confront those things. When you confront everything. When you see it.
There it is in front of you. Vietnam War.
Well, that's the beginning of it.
No, wait, sir. You see, what is there more to confront? War, office, family, quarrels, bitterness, anger, death, fear, the lack of love, the jealousy, competition, your own fears, it's all there. The worship of success, frustration, everything is there. You see, in the olden days, in India, it was the custom of the righteous man to have disciples who lived with him, ate with him, lived in his house, and they got some of that righteousness wiped on, They've got a special phrase for it.
Satsang.
And let and you can take, if one takes drugs, LSD or whatever one takes, but again that you have to keep on at it, So you may have tried it, I may not have, but each person has tried various things. Put them all together and sit on a piece of paper, as it were. You don't have to do it yourself. And you say, now after seeing all this, what am I to do?
It seems like we're trained that, you know, even if we see this danger, or we see that it brings us unhappiness, that we think it's necessary because it's difficult to see an alternative, and then we're trained that we have to be courageous.
So there is only one thing, either this or that. There is not an alternative.
If you perceive directly, you perceive the tremendous waste of energy that you've been involved in, you see the whole condition directly, you see it as a tremendous waste and a totally negative way of life. What's the question? Can you choose in that state of mind?
Or is it only some few gifted beings have got this, the rest just, like so many spawn, the fish, so many fish, just somebody can't be, that isn't right. It isn't human, you follow me? That is monstrous. Is it education? No.
Yeah.
So what is one to do, sir? Huh?
There's no choice in that.
No, I'm not talking about choice. I think that's
But to
either
do
this or
something,
that.
I would
Doesn't
have
take.
I'd have to do anything. I would have to say, well, not that, this, wouldn't I? If I were to do anything.
Anything we do is part of the same.
No, there must be something. As a human being, involved in all this. I'm not separate from that. As a human being, I see this whole map of this world very clearly. There's no hesitation in my observation. It's very clear.
Seeing this and then wanting to do something about it, isn't that the same thing? Isn't the doing it actually the seeing it?
Yes, all right, sir. Now why don't you see it?
Yeah, I know that this, like it all this is here with me right now.
It's there in front of you. You
Well,
don't have
it's
to go
in me.
outside to look at it. It's there.
me, right? I mean all the, well, what it,
Yes, sir.
Where?
Then
it's here, but and then I go to look at it.
You
It's
are-
not here. You know what I mean? Like
I
I
don't-
try to see these things in myself sometimes when I sit here. And I draw a blank. You know what I mean?
I don't quite follow, sir, what you mean.
Well, what I mean is when I come to this meeting here and sit here, I'm different than I am when I'm at home or if I'm
And that
driving.
may be because we're good company. We talk seriously. We're not absolutely murderers. And we're not violently butchering each other or whatever. We're fairly friendly and fairly comfortable, fairly that. But that doesn't make you any different tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's what we are talking, sir. You can't stay in this room with all of us for the next 5 years. It's our next for 10 days even. It's impossible.
But what I'm saying is that I know I'm the way I am.
Ordinary.
All my life, right here, right now. But now when I look for it, I can't see it.
No, sir, I don't have to look for it. It's there. I must be blind not to see it.
He means you know it is so. You know it is so. And that you see it.
Sir,
Yeah, I know it's so, but why can't I see it now if it's
No,
here now?
no,
Well, if you know it's so, then that means you're seeing it.
I know it's so because
Seeing
I
it
saw
isn't
it when I was
otherwise.
out there. When,
Seeing it isn't different from knowing that it is so. Knowing that it is so is seeing it.
I know it's so because I remember it. I know
no,
it's so
don't
because I've
complicate.
seen it before.
Don't complicate it, sir. You don't have to remember it. You have to go to the office, right?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
You have to.
Kitchen.
You have to earn a livelihood. There are quarrels between you and your mother, or your family, your wife, your husband, or the quarrels. There is all this, I don't think there's anything more to see. It is there right in front of my nose.
But these, if I can put it this way, this that's in me that quarrels and
All
gets
the rest.
caught up with the whole thing. Well, it's here right now, isn't it?
Yes, it's there.
Yeah. Well, then I go to observe this.
No, I'm not interested anymore in observation. I've done all that. I said, I want to be entirely different tomorrow morning. I want to be a changed human being so that these things don't touch me anymore.
Isn't it the want that is
Huh?
lacking?
No,
Anything
it
one
is,
wants to do, one does.
and then I want to do this, I want to be changed tomorrow, and yet I'm caught in this beastly stuff.
You don't want it, one doesn't want it enough.
I have the greatest wish. I say, I must, I want, I've shed tears over it. I mean, after all, I go all over the world looking for this. If there's a new yoga teacher somewhere down there, I rush there. A new man who says a little enlightened, I'm there at his door. I don't know if you saw that cartoon in New York. Sorry. Yogis is sitting on a big desk in the Himalayas, miles of steps leading up to him. And only over this cave is attain enlightenment.
Neon lights.
Neon lighted. And two little chaps walking up said, he looks rather expensive.
The other one, the automatic answering device.
Is it volition? Is it lack of desire? Is it a sense of lack of urgency? Let us admit all those things. I'm left there. Then I say, I don't feel it urgently enough. Then how am I to be urgent? How am I to have this urgency? Back again.
If somebody wanted something, anything enough as much as they want a drink of water when they're thirsty. Isn't it a question of wanting to want rather than wanting?
And wanting to hold on to the old familiar way of operating.
All right, if all those are admitted, then who is going to shake me out of it?
Well, that isn't that the problem? How to want enough?
You see, then
I mean, that's really. If you want it, there's no problem.
but I don't know. I haven't that urgency. Now, who is going to give me? What am I to do?
Well, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yes, that's all right. What am I to do? Put it in 10 different ways. What am I to do at the end of it?
Even having the urgency, one doesn't know what to do.
But if you have the want,
Even for the want, aren't we still holding on? Aren't we saying, if I don't have this, I must have that? There's always the guarantee we're looking for. I'll jump off the boat into the ocean, providing there's another boat that will pick me up. We never just jump. We have to have some psychological something to jump to.
All right,
that's fear.
all right. Admit all these things. What at the end of it, say, please, I haven't enough energy enough to want so much that I jump. What am I to do? I wasted a day, I wasted a night, I wasted a year. And if I'm faced with it, if I get depressed, so that's just stupid. You follow what I mean? That's another waste of time. We have put an impossible problem, haven't we, really? Huh? Right? That we're asking a very, we're putting to ourselves an impossible question. Right?
Yes.
Huh? Then what is possible? No, wait, no, first, do I see very clearly the impossible question I put myself? Not just...
Question being how to wake up different tomorrow morning.
No. See, all that.
Yes.
Question, all that. The impossible question. Right?
Why is it?
What do I do? What do I do now that seems...
No, sir. I see in front of me this map very clearly. Hmm? The map of the world, the map of myself, my relationship with the world, and I have created the world and the world, all that. I see it very clearly. Hmm? The tricks I can play upon myself, the escapes, the fates, the fears, the anxieties, all that is in front of me, and I see it as clearly as possible, right? And I say to myself, all this must change by tomorrow, which is an impossible question, right?
Why is it impossible?
Why?
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen, quite. It doesn't happen.
Right?
You cannot change it by tomorrow. That's
No, don't jump to conclusions yet.
Yes.
Watch it, sir. I have put an impossible question to myself. Hmm?
Yes. Because it doesn't happen.
I don't know what to do. Hmm?
You've tried everything.
Huh?
You've tried everything.
What?
You've tried everything.
No, I've not tried a thing. But I don't have to try anything. I see it in front of me. What's the difficulty in this?
Now you're saying this is an impossible question, sir.
I have put to myself an impossible question, which is a true question. You follow? It's not just a... I have put it because it's impossible, but it is a question...
The valid question is impossible.
Yeah, it is a valid question.
The only valid question happens to be impossible.
Impossible, that's all. Right? Be clear. Next step will go slowly. We'll see something in this. I have put to myself a question, a valid question, which appears to be impossible. The answer of it, that is, seeing all this, I say to myself, I must be entirely different tomorrow. Wake up in a different dimension altogether. Right? Huh? That is, my brain and my mind looking at all this has put to itself a question which has become impossible because it doesn't know what to do. Right? Right, sir? Are we in that state?
Yes.
Wait. No, I must be very clear. Are we in that state? Not state. Do you understand? Huh? Seeing the impossible, then what is possible? Wait, look at it carefully, slow. You understand, sir? It's only when I see the impossible, I can then put the question, what is possible? Without seeing what is the impossible, my question, what is possible, becomes very trivial. I don't know if you see what I mean.
Yes. No, sir.
No?
No. It's not by asking an impossible question.
No.
That's the possible question.
Wait, I don't enlarge it, don't spoil it. Here I have, I am confronted with the world.
Yes.
I am the world. The world is not separate from me. The world of jealousy, anger, hate, lack of love, frustration, fear, the society, the culture in which all that is me. I have seen it, I have felt it, I have smelt it, I have tasted it, I have suffered, there are tears, everything, there are real things, not just verbal statements, right? And I see, unless I change tomorrow completely, it's no, it's the futility of little change here, there is no meaning.
Yes.
And I see how impossible it is as I am. Right? Am I clear?
Yes.
And I then say to myself, because I have seen very clearly the impossible, then only I can put to myself the question, what is possible? It is not at a lower level. You want to say it is not a contradiction to that or an opposition to the impossible. I don't know. What is possible? I can only put that question as a valid question if I've seen the impossible first. I don't know.
No, sir.
The impossible as I am, isn't that?
No.
Why?
I don't follow at all why one can only ask what is possible if one has established what is impossible.
Otherwise,
I
you'd
don't
be
see the
dealing
rapport.
with the elements of the whole question. If you said, well,
What's
is it
possible?
possible?
I can do this, I can do that, and a little bit of this, this is possible. Which is nothing. But when I see what is impossible to myself, I don't know.
Yes, I see.
The point is that the impossible is the only valid question.
No, I can't know. I don't change.
Yes, yes,
But that question is valid.
yes, that's right.
What goes on?
And I must be clear in this before I proceed to myself. Whether I see the question, whether I see the validity of the impossible. The truth of it, that I can't. That's something, you follow?
But I don't.
That I don't, that I can't, that is not possible. I've done everything I can, but somehow it doesn't happen. And I put the most impossible question to myself. After searching, asking, begging, looking, praying, follow all the mess that one goes through life. And I put that question. Until I have seen the validity of the impossible, the validity
Or
of
the fact that the valid is impossible.
then I can only say to now, what is possible? The question what is possible is entirely different now than before. Before, what was possible is very small. If I did this, I did that, this is possible, this is not possible. I don't know if I'm conveying, if I'm making myself
You're asking now what is possible with regard to the whole problem. Is that what you're asking?
Weren't you asking before what was possible as I am? It is impossible to change as I am. One sees that that is impossible. Therefore, as long as one remains within that perimeter, it remains impossible.
Yeah.
So, seeing that, the limitation of the
I don't go through all that process.
well,
You follow, you're
But what
making
is
it all too intellectual, too
if
diagrammatical,
if it's impossible
too.
to infinity, then there is
No, madam, no, it's too designed, your question.
But
No, I won't have too designed a question, too analytical question. That is no meaning to me anymore.
you're using terms that perhaps we're using in different ways.
And that's why I want to be clear that you and I are communicating about the same thing truly.
Well, in the using the word impossible, are you using it in a sense that it pertains to
No, look, madam, don't pertain anything, don't use all those words. Here I am all this. Anxious, fearful, depressed, lonely, no love, no compassion. I'm all that. I'm the world. Hmm? And I see, my God, I must change tomorrow. Hmm? And tomorrow I wake up and I don't change. I'm changing a little bit on this. But this is not transformation. I don't live at a different dimension. Right?
Yeah.
So I have discovered something which is, seeing all this, I've put to myself an impossible question. And probably that's the right question.
Do go on.
It is only when I know the impossible, then I can put this question, what is possible? That possibility is entirely different from the mind which has not seen the impossible. I don't know.
I mean, seeing these things as being impossible. As long as I think they're possible, then I won't look for the,
See the impossible.
yeah, as the impossible.
As the impossible.
Rather than seeing it as being possible. And then the question comes, what is possible?
Is it difficult, this?
No.
Is it different from seeing the limitation?
No, not the limitation.
Will you go on a little bit? Perhaps that will...
I've seen the valid question. I've seen the valid question is impossible.
No, I have put a question
Which is valid.
which is valid.
And what was
It's I have put a sorry, forgive me.
Excuse me.
I have put a question which is valid, and the validity of its action is impossible. I want to be different tomorrow morning. And not, that's in, I want to be. I've looked at everything, I've done everything, I've talked to this and searched there, been communist, socialist, finished with all that muck. And I say, now how can I wake up tomorrow morning different? Right? And that's a valid question. And I wake up and I'm not different. So I have put to myself a problem which is an impossible problem to me. No, it's so
Yes,
simple.
yes.
Wait, there's no but. I won't allow but to myself. I'm not going to be butted. Because I see this thing very clearly. So what am I to do? Now I say to myself, what is possible? And I see this question is entirely different from the previous possibility. Right? Right, sir? Before I could do this and this and this, perhaps change that, change this, break down this limitation or reshape
I
it.
now see that's futile.
No! That what was possible before is now impossible. I got it, right? You got it? Yes, sir. Right. Got it? What was possible before is now impossible. That's it. because I have put the most impossible question. Huh? Right, I've got it.
Yes.
Acha. Go slowly in this. What was the possible is now the impossible, right?
No, there's something else that is
I mean,
impossible.
No.
The question is impossible too.
No.
Could you define what you mean?
Huh?
These possibles become
No,
impossible.
this is right. Stick to it a little bit, stick to it. Don't move out of your phraseology. Move out of your phraseology. Come to my phraseology for a change.
But if you chill a little like
First, I have put to myself an impossible question, right?
Yes.
Impossible because
It didn't happen.
it didn't happen.
Today is tomorrow.
So I say to myself, having put that enormous question to myself and finding no answer to that question, answer in the sense transformation,
Solution. Yes.
real action. Now I'm asking, what is possible? Right? Right? What is possible? And is this possibility different from the previous possibilities?
Let's forget about the previous.
No, it's immensely,
Why?
no, oh God. So before, let's forget.
Nothing was ever possible.
Wait. Before, I said this is possible, this is not
But
possible.
it wasn't.
No, sir, my darling sir, watch it.
It
This
wasn't
is
possible because it wasn't valid.
No, sir, watch it. I'm an ordinary human being. I said this is possible. I can change a little.
Yes.
I can become a little more virtuous. I can be a little more kind. This was possible. Huh? This possibility of doing a little bit is entirely different. No, this new possibility is entirely different from the old possibility. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
What is the difficulty?
well, Krishnaji, one is still within the realm of the old possibilities. Still, to talk about a new realm of possibilities hasn't any meaning to the person who's stuck in the old.
No, he says the old possibilities have become impossible because one sees that they are trivial and insufficient. Therefore, they are no longer even called possibilities, and they are no longer considered as such. Therefore, what was possible before is now impossible because trivial, because insufficient, because partial.
I won't even say trivial. They're impossible.
Transformations, but
I've got it. Right? Before, what was possible is now impossible. Which is, what was possible, which was gradual change, gradual achievement, gradually getting rid of fear, that's impossible. I can only say they are impossible because I put a question
Which is valid.
which is tremendously valid. Without putting that question, my possibility will always remain within the limits of little possibilities.
Yes.
So I brought about a change in myself, because now what was possible is now impossible. Right? I could not have said that what was possible is impossible. I can only say that now because I see what is really impossible. I don't know if you. Therefore, there is a tremendous change in me. Huh? What is the problem, madam?
I don't know whether it's somatic or what, but if you say, I see that I cannot change as long as I can.
I don't say that.
No, but if
I know not if that.
one is within.
I know you
Well, then
people
it's
are just
impossible.
so rude, you know.
I see that everything I do,
Ah, no, I don't. I'm not interested in all that. I have said, no, you're really not following this. You're just sticking to your little groove.
We've reached the point now where we've found the valid question.
No,
this is
I want to-
impossible, and also
I-
what was possible
unless-
before is now impossible. Now, Avanti, sir. What's
No,
the
she
next
doesn't
thing?
see it. So unless we see this, we can't proceed. No, sir, let me finish. Look, madam, I see what the world is. The map of the world. I am the world. All these things that are happening inside, outside is also happening inside. And I say I must change tomorrow. I must wake up with a different feeling, with a different smile, with a different heart, at a different dimension. And I put that question, and I see what an impossible question it is, right? Right? Don't say yes and not go back to your little circle, right? Right?
Go on, sir.
Therefore, now, when I say what is possible, that possibility is no longer the previous possibility, right?
But I still don't know what is possible.
I only know what is impossible.
Yes.
No.
Sir,
I only know, sir, what is impossible.
it's to me, sort of what I operate under, my thoughts that I operate under in my life are that it's a matter of growth for me. I mean, it's impossible just to be, and also these other directions like the guru and everything aren't right. But it's a matter of growth as much as I can. To try to
Growth is what used to be possible and is now impossible.
Why?
Growth is, he's answered you.
Yeah, but he hasn't told me why.
Because you
He's told
haven't
me his
listened.
conclusion.
Because unless you wake up tomorrow, quickly, right now, completely transformed, it doesn't happen. It's only possible if it happens. If it doesn't happen, it's not possible. Since today is tomorrow and it hasn't happened, therefore the
It's
question
impossible.
is impossible.
Sure,
And
okay.
that takes care of the Guru and all his disciplines and all his books and his beads and his mantras and everything else.
No, that
And so, the Guru with everything else is
Great.
impossible.
When it happens, that's when it happens, all right?
No! You see? No, no.
When you say that seeing
When-
the impossibility frees you,
No, it doesn't
No, he didn't
freeze
say
me.
that. He's just
It
saying
doesn't
we've seen
freeze
what
me.
is impossible, that's all.
It doesn't freeze me at all, on the contrary.
No, free you.
Freeze.
I'm free.
Liberare.
No.
No, we've just seen what is impossible.
Now, do go on.
So I know every possibility is now impossible, right?
Yes. Yes.
Huh?
Randy Kamara, I'm sorry, which of you was Randy? Is it emergency?
What was possible before is now impossible, which means that's over.
Hmm.
Hmm?
Yes.
I can't go back to it. It's
Yeah.
finished. Hmm?
That's right.
So my possibility now is at a different dimension, isn't it?
I cannot posit any
How is it?
possibility now.
No. Don't stick at words. Don't make yourself block yourself.
Well, what is that possibility now?
No, sir. That's why it's so sensitive. One must go into this very. Don't jump to anything,
Yes.
sir.
Sir, I don't consider what I started to state the same as being going to a guru or that.
No,
That's-
that's all trivial. That's so.
It's not.
look,
It's
sir,
not trivial to me. I don't see that as being
I
impossible.
cut beastly good. Throw them out. That's not the point, sir. The point is this. Let's begin again. I ardently wish, hope, pray, long, whatever word, strong word you have, you can use. I want to be different tomorrow. Entirely different, transformed. Not my physical state, but mental, psychological state. Right? And I say, what an impossible question I have put to myself. But it is a valid question all the same. Right?
Yes.
The question, though valid, is impossible to be answered. Right?
Yes.
So I say to myself, then what is possible? And is that possibility, is the new possibility different from the old possibility? And I see, yes, it is entirely different, because what was possible before is now impossible. No?
Yes.
So what has happened to me? What has happened to my mind? Huh?
Total change has happened.
And go slowly. Don't jump to anything yet. What has happened to my mind? What I accepted before as possible, now I reject as impossible. I can't go, it's impossible to touch it. So there has taken place a transformation in my mind. No? Now, next step. What is possible now is also becoming impossible. You're all getting lost?
No,
No.
no, 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 no.
That lady is lost over there.
No, do go on.
I'm sorry. Huh? What was possible is now impossible. And therefore I'm no longer involved in it.
Yes.
And what is now possible is entirely different. Before I thought I couldn't jump over the moon, but now I can jump over the moon. I want to, please.
No, sir. Before I thought I could, and now I can't.
No.
Because
no,
I thought the partial
no.
things, the gurus,
No, cut the damn gurus out. I'm not interested.
the possible before is no longer valid.
Quiet face and you see it. Huh? Where are you? Let me go on, may I? Just a little bit. I've stated to myself, put to myself an impossible question, though it's valid. And next question which I'm going to put to myself is also valid. What is possible? And I see this possibility, the new possibility, is entirely different from the old possibility. And therefore the old possibility is now impossible, it's finished. And I'm not concerned with what is possible in action, but I'm concerned now what has happened to my mind. What has actually taken place in my mind, not in relationship to action with regard to the world, right? What has taken place in my mind? What has taken place in your mind? What was possible is now impossible. Therefore, there is no relationship to what was possible, right? Therefore, my mind is entirely different. No? It has new possibilities. I don't know what they are, but it has new possibilities. Because it has touched the impossible, therefore it has a new possibility. What is this possibility? Right? It doesn't know what its possibilities are. Right? Huh? You getting it? Therefore, it is possible to do anything. When I don't know what yes, I got it. When I said before, this is possible, this is not possible, this is, that little possibilities, I was caught in it. When I put the real question of what is impossible, and which is valid, and I don't know how to answer it, but I have said now, what is possible out of all this? This new possibility is entirely different from the old. Now, what is this possibility? What is this possibility of the mind, right? And he says, I don't know. I'll see. I'll meet it different. I'll meet everything differently. I'll see what happens. Not in terms of the possible. I wonder if I'm making myself clear. Therefore, the mind is now in a state of great adaptability, great sense, capable of anything, because it doesn't know what it can do. So it has answered the question. No? Because it doesn't know what its own possibilities are, it can do anything. I don't know what it is. Therefore, it can do the impossible. Right. Got it. I've got it, right?
Because you've solved one impossible problem, as it were, then the next possibility can become impossible again. And you can resolve that.
So before the mind said this is possible, this is not possible, I can do this, I can't do this, I can use my will and I can't use my will, it's no good. All that it could do and it could not do, right? It tried, it failed, it did this, it was always working within the field of the known, right? When you put that question, it is a question which was impossible, you had entered into the unknown because you didn't know what to do. I don't know, I can't change. Right? Then what was possible from that? What was possible is different from what was previously not possible. The new possibility makes the old possibilities impossible. Right? And what is this possibility, new possibility of the mind? It says, I don't know. Therefore it's a fresh mind, therefore it can answer that. It has answered the impossible question. Got it? If not, it's up to you now. Hi, Joe. That was extraordinary, isn't it?